Here is quite unusual to find heather growing lowland area, right? Knettishall Heath. We have quite an interesting habitat here, which is unusual for the south of the British Isles. We have over here a rather splendid, well, it's not amazing, but Betula pendula, birch tree. Right? You can see some of the distinctive white bark up there. This is a pioneer species, and I'll show you what it's trying to do in the heathland in a moment. Looking around the other way, we have a rather terrific Scots pine, Pinus sylvestris. Now, Pinus sylvestris, as its English name would suggest, the Scots pine is normally found further north in Scotland and much more in the north of England. But here in Thetford Forest, near in Suffolk, Norfolk, sort of borderlands, we find a habitat or a collection of species. We have baby birch trees here, look, these small birch growing up, and another couple of Scots pine here. Now, I don't know how long the horses have been introduced, but what they're doing is they're starting to eat the small seedlings of trees, right, and keep them down, so that, by the way, while I notice, you can see the roots of the trees right at the surface here, quite a long way out from the trunk of the tree, way spread. The roots spread way further than the branches do. So remember that most trees are surface rooting, with roots in the top 500 millimeters of soil. They don't go deep. Well, maybe a few do for anchorage. Here's a baby Pinus sylvestris, baby Scots pine here, and it looks like somebody's been nibbling this. It's trying to make new shoots to grow up, but it's been nibbled off here and there, and definitely saw a birch with the same thing. Oh, there's a good example over there. So there's a birch tree, it's been bitten right off, look. Actually, it looks like somebody's cut. It looks like some of the bigger branches were cut. So I think there's a bit of human and horse landscape management going on here. But that's also brought me right over to this plant, which is a ground cover. And this is heather, Calluna vulgaris. It's in the family, the Ericaceae, normally associated with uplands, right? So heather's normally found in the Scottish hills, you know, some of the higher ground and moorland in the United Kingdom. Here is quite unusual to find heather growing lowland area, right? Because Suffolk and Norfolk are pretty well flat landscapes. The reason for that is the soil. So here's this heath with the heather, and I've been looking for some evidence of what the soil is like underneath. Finally, next to the road here, I found some mole hills. So moles are little animals about 10-12 centimeters long. 6 inches ish. Underground burrowing animals, and they push up the earth. They dig underground, above ground here. So here's a mole hill. I couldn't find many because of course the soil is so bad. But look how sandy that is. It's almost pure sand, right? Amazing, almost pure sand soil. So this very poor soil that can't hold water. Is the reason why, number one, this area hasn't been developed for agriculture, for growing wheat or whatever, and has survived, right? And with this particular community of plants.